to start with an update on the new marketplace, the beautification of Phillipsburg. This remains a priority for the Ministry of TIAD. We've encountered some technical issues that have delayed the progress of the project slightly, but the tropical storm Ernesto also threw a little monkey wrench in the plans. But we are in constant communications with the vendors to let them know what is happening, and we hope to relocate them to the pavilion as soon as we erect this. And we're looking forward to completing the project on schedule. As I said before, the new marketplace is the first step, but a major step in the beautification of the whole of town, right now, right up to the harbor. And I'm more convinced each day that we must make our capital look like a real attractive modern day capital. That's why every day I'm on the Minister of Rami to keep town clean every day, because my phone rings off every day. So I'm on him every day to make sure that whoever's assigned to town to keep it clean at all times. The Win Air Easy Air saga. Negotiations are in the final stages now to resolve what appears to be a conflict between Win Air and Easy Air, or rather the aviation authorities of St. Martin and Curaçao. I've been in constant contact with my colleague in Curaçao, Minister Charles Cooper, and both of us are eager to put the matters behind us in an amicable, fair, and just matter, based on the principle of friendliness and reciprocity. Once we have dotted the I's and crossed the T's, I will inform you of what we have agreed upon very soon. Regarding the STA, just an update there, as we work together towards strengthening our tourism sector and the establishment of the St. Martin Tourism Authority, it remains a priority for us, a top priority. We're currently awaiting nominations for various stakeholders for candidates to serve on the Supervisory Board of Directors. And additionally, we are in the final stages of an experienced interim manager to lead the authority's setup and lay a strong foundations for its Virgin Voyages. I recently announced that Virgin Voyages will make its inaugural call to St. Martin on December 6th. This is and additional calls are planned for December 20th, and further voyages scheduled for July 3rd and July 31st and February 10th. Virgin Voyages offers an exclusive cruising experience designed for travelers between 35 and 55. And who are active, vibrant, and seek unique adventures. This cruise line is known for its commitment to authentic, smaller tours and caters to a high-value class of passengers. It is our intention to use this as a launch pad to attract Virgin Atlantic Airways to St. Martin. This will lead obviously to an increase in the numbers of UK visitors to our island. The possibility of home porting for an exclusive segment of our cruise industry as well. An update on the FCCA conference. We are firing on all cylinders to make the FCCA 30th Anniversary Conference, which we will host from August 21 to the 25th of 2024, a huge success. The steering committee will be meeting this week to continue with their planning. I'm part of that steering committee. I'll be meeting with the airport, the harbor, and the tourist office. I think tomorrow we're set to meet. And the conference is expected to attract, as I stated before, 800 to 900 participants. And we must put our best foot forward and roll out the red carpet for them. Among those who will be coming are top cruise executives and investors. The airport is still on track, and I am told to be completed on October 8th. And this is critical because we want our visitors to have a pleasant, seamless experience from the time they arrive to the time they leave. I also had this week a meeting with American Airlines. We held a very positive discussion with representatives of American Airlines this week. They disclosed that their load factors have been 90% and above, and they will return to 3 daily flights weekly in October, with up to 7 daily flights on weekends. The airline flies presently from Charlotte, Miami, Philadelphia, and New York, and discussions will continue to reopen gateways such as Dallas, Texas. Ticket prices are 20% lower compared to the same period of last year, and the lower fares actually drove demand, which in turn resulted in more flights.
Let me first go through some of the districts that we saw change. As everybody knows, we ended up doing a full recount. Initially, we had intended as a voting bureau, because of discrepancies that we had found in the PVs, to recount 7 of the 20 districts, and then we had decided that across all 20 districts, we would recount all the invalid votes. However, upon our recount of those districts and the invalid votes, more specifically, I'll go into with respect to district number 3, that is the St. Martin Senior Citizen Recreational Center, along with district number 5, the Dutch Quarter Community Center. In those 2 districts, we did encounter discrepancies that we did not initially expect to encounter. However, we were able to reconcile the numbers in these districts to an extent that brought us sufficient comfort to be able to establish an election result today. However, we did want to note, in the sake of transparency, of course, we will note all the measures in our own report of what transpired during our recount process and what we found. And we do want to note, for the sake of transparency, that any particular findings that we found, that we will note these and bring them to the attention of the relevant authorities. The official results, because, we spent the past couple of days here counting, and again, as our job is as the Central Voting Bureau is to ensure that there is transparency and trust in our electoral process, where I think there's always room for improvement, but as a Central Voting Bureau, we're happy with the way that this election went. And we've definitely seen an improvement since January, but of course, nothing is perfect, and we have taken note of all the different suggestions that we've gotten and all the feedback that we've received, and we'll take them into our improvement plans, and definitely debrief and sit with the Ministry of General Affairs and the Civil Registry Department and all other relevant stakeholders and look at how we can improve on this experience and the process for both the parties and all the entire population of St. Martin and the voting population of St. Martin going forward in our next election, which please let's let it be over in 4 years. Because I think we have a lot of love for country, guys, but don't ask us to do it again too soon. So what I will do is I will start, of course, with the seat allocation and total number of votes, and then go on to the candidates who were selected or who will now be receiving a seat in Parliament, should they so accept. So in total, there were a total amount of valid votes cast of 13,696. This brings our electoral quota to 913.07. The seat allocation will be, so I'll go through the total valid votes. The SAM party received a total amount of valid votes of 1,250 votes. The National Alliance received a total valid votes of 2,262. The ECE received a total valid votes of 136. The Democratic Party received total valid votes of 2,071. The OMC received a total number of valid votes of 521. The Now Party received total amount of valid votes of 1,243. The UP Party received a total number of valid votes of 2,043. The PFP received a total number of valid votes of 1,946. And the URSM received a total amount of valid votes of 2,224. This leads to the following seat allocation also after the distribution of residual seats. So the total seat distribution will be as follows. The SAM party will receive 1 seat. The National Alliance will receive 3 seats. The Democratic Party will receive 3 seats. The Now party will receive 1 seat. The UP party will receive 2 seats. The PFP will receive 2 seats. And the URSM will receive 3 seats. We saw no change in the seat allocation after the complete recount. Then the following candidates have been earmarked or designated for seats so far. Once again, they of course must accept these seats. However, these are the following. Franklin Myers of the SAM Party with 417 votes. Egbert Gerendi Duran of the National Alliance with 360 votes. Daryl York of the National Alliance with 311 votes. Artwell Irian of the National Alliance with 305 votes. For the Democratic Party, we have Grisha Heiliger Martin with 480 votes. We have Sarah Westcott Williams with 386 votes. And we have Viren Kotai with 338 votes. For the Now Party, the candidate selected is Lyndon Constantine Lewis Jr. with 446 votes. For the Up Party, the candidates selected are Omar Otley with 669 votes and Francisco La Cruz with 236 votes. For the PFP, the candidates selected are Ludmila De Wever with 690 votes and Melissa Gomes with 348 votes. For the URSM, the candidates are Luc Mercelina with 1,317 votes, Richenel Brugge with 230 votes, and Shamira Roosburg with 208 votes. In the coming days, the law requires that the Central Voting Bureau will send letters to these candidates and inform them that they have been nominated for a seat in Parliament, that they've received a seat in Parliament as a result of the election. Once these candidates, of course, confirm this, then we move through with that process administratively behind the scenes. Off the top of my head, the new Parliament will come together on September 20th. So on September 20th, we'll have the eerste samenkomst of the nieuwe staten. And, of course, then behind the scenes, we will work with these new candidates as a Central Voting Bureau to provide them with all the relevant documentation that they need for their geloofsbrieven. So that's it for us in terms of public meetings and election results.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, yeah. Your social and health insurances.
Agreement signed by former Minister Otley in December went into effect in February this year.
Which agreement you're talking about?
It's about providing the French side with water.
Yes.
Water.
Mm-hmm.
Were you informed about the added energy burden that represents, how many megawatts it requires to produce the extra water for the French side? And it was never mentioned how much the French side paid for this. And so do you have knowledge about this? Does it include a fuel clause for the French also? And is this going to continue? And what is the effect of the added energy burden on the whole situation and GB crisis?
Yes. At this particular moment, this government has priorities. And of course, in the times that has been signed and agreed upon, the circumstances of energy supply for the country was different than how it is now. Personally, I'm very honest with you, I did not have time to think on that follow-up aspect because the challenges were too big for the country. And at a certain moment when you govern, you have to give priorities. So at a certain moment I said, I have to solve my national crisis energy problem first before I look up to what I can do with the neighbors. That's logical that has to happen, but our problem was a too threatening crisis for us to focus or diversify our focus for St. Martin. So I'm not up to par in all details because that does not have my priority at this particular moment. I have really other priorities for St. Martin now.
Thank you. Unfortunately, we have to move on to the second round. Thank you, Prime Minister. Bibi, you have the floor.
Thank you, Rebecca. Prime Minister, I think 2 weeks ago, don't count me on the date, but some time ago you mentioned you wanted to appoint 3 temporary managers at NVGEBE. I am also aware that the Supervisory Board of Directors gave a proposal with the 3 candidates based on the recruitment. Can you tell us if that appointment will take place and when will it take place? And Prime Minister, I have a situation where several businesses have contacted me. And several businesses in this community, they are being accused of having conducted some kind of wrongdoing with a civil servant who was sent home without any official letter. A civil servant who is accused of probably doing hanky-panky with businesses for a government is today sent home without even an official suspension letter. Can you tell me if there are procedures in place that the Secretary General of the General Affairs have to follow prior to suspending civil servants?
Yes. Come back to the first question you had was the...
GEBE and the appointment.
Ah, yes, very good. The appointment, I didn't say we're going to come with 3 directors. I said we are looking to bring enforcement to the management team of GEBE. Good. At this particular moment, we have 1 temporary manager, but what we need, especially in GEBE, is a manager that especially specialized and is focused on the operational side and the technical part of GEBE. And that is the reason that we decided to look further in a way to expand the management team by enforcing it with a temporary manager with a focus on operations. We did not speak of a CFO, COO, or CEO. We spoke about expansion with temporary managers. That's something else. As you said, the SOAB was busy in a process of working on selection of candidates to fill on the long term the positions of the vacancies of CFO, COO, and CEO. That are 2 things next to each other. So you have, that's a long process that has to go through the Corporate Governance Council. That takes long while we have a crisis situation, and that's why we opted as a government to choose for a more acute solution approach by looking into the option of a temporary manager operations, for example. It can be that we can get everybody at the same time, but we are working on the possibility of expansion with a temporary manager operations. So the candidates that has been presented through the selection procedure of SOAB, this is for the project plan of selecting definitive CFO, COO, and CEOs. That's something else, so we have to separate those two from each other. That's one. And the second question you had was...
SXM, your social and health insurance. SXM, your social and health insurance.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXV, yeah, your social and health insurances.
Hillside Road, Gall Hill, Christchurch, as a result of information received through the operations control, where it was revealed by a caller that shots were fired at Gall Hill. The police responded to Hillside Road. As a result, it was learned that the occupant of a car, a driver of a car, which was heading towards the direction of the Aberdeen Center, was approached by a lone assailant from one of the side roads. The driver, who was a single occupant of that vehicle, in an effort to avoid his attacker, collided with two other vehicles, one of which was a road taxi traveling in the opposite direction. The deceased was traveling towards the direction of Aberdeen Center. That vehicle, after colliding, it overturned and landed on the right side. The assailant then went towards that vehicle, discharged a number of shots, and fled the scene. No persons traveling in the ZR vehicle were hurt, and the investigation is at an early stage. So we would like any person who have any information to give us a call the police hotline at 211, Crime Stoppers number, or call the South Oistins at 418-2612. Thank you.